Let me just outline perhaps three of these practices in very short summary detail. First off, for example, transforming motivation. Each of the great religious traditions and their contemplative dimension suggests that there are two crucial motivational shifts which are absolutely essential for us. One is to reduce craving or addiction, and the second is to shift what we actually are seeking. The first part, reducing craving or addiction, is most succinctly laid out in the first three noble truths of Buddhism. That the first, that there is suffering in life. The second, that the cause of that suffering is craving, or what we in contemporary terms would call addiction. And the third, laying out a possibility that it is possible to alleviate suffering by reducing or even eliminating craving. And this is in many ways the exact opposite to our contemporary culture's understanding of motivation, because our contemporary culture is largely based on and reinforces the idea that happiness, well-being comes from increasing in some ways our craving. And of course the advertising industry is the paradigm of that. The advertising industry, as Mahatma Gandhi said, it's like giving a thirsty person a glass of salt water. Or I would suggest that much advertising is like hypnotizing someone to believe they're thirsty and then giving them a glass of salt water to increase the thirst. Our culture, and most specifically the advertising industry, fosters false needs and sells us the false idea that by acquiring certain things we can relieve these illusory needs. But of course it's a sham, because you can never get enough of what you don't really need. Yet you can spend an entire lifetime pursuing those false needs and trying to satisfy them. And the state of the world is really an expression of that fact. If we look around at the world and the overconsumption and the ecological disruption, one can easily see it as an expression of our collective pursuit of illusory goals and a relentless, insatiable attempt to relieve our pseudo-desires by consuming as much as we can. So the shift in motivation that the great traditions emphasize is first reducing craving, but the second part is to shift what we seek, to let go our attachments, our addictions to superficial toys and trinkets of the world, and to seek instead within ourselves for our true nature. Because the central message of the great contemplative traditions, of the great saints and sages, of the religious founders, is that nothing outside us will ever fully satisfy. And that what we truly seek is to recognize and become one with who and what we really are. So that shift in a twofold shift in motivation, the reduction of craving and the redirection of our desires, is the fundamental transformation of motivation that the great traditions so emphasize.